Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Zazignasia Education. In this video, I'd like to share about 5 things to consider before studying abroad. For me, it is very important before we going abroad or choosing the university or the countries to where we will be study in the abroad. It is these 5 things is very important. For example, before I choose the University of York or the University of Birmingham for my PhD, these 5 considerations is still in my mind. I'd like to share based on my own experience. Maybe all of you have other considerations. That would be a great idea also. So you can share in the comment below if you have other things that is different from my experience. Right. Of course, the number one considerations that we should take into account is that the departments and the major fits into your future career in the future. Well, it is very important. In my experience, I chose the University of York and the University of Birmingham because in York there is the departments what we call it as citizenship education or civics education. So this department is very rare. Not all university provide these departments. I know that some of the some of the campus they have a very specific in the UK or in other countries. So please make sure that it really fits with what your future career. Also, if you choose to be the lecturer or the tutor in the university, it should be relevant with your previous background. So, for example, if your previous background is chemistry or mathematics or science, so your master or PhD degree also should fit into your background. Also, in order to see the department and the major, we need to go to the university website and look at some department and the university reputations. And another things also when we consider about the department, the major is that the university reputations. So we have the QS World University ranking based on the subject. Uh, so you can see that you can check about the university reputations, what's the ranking and what's the best major, and based on that table. In my opinions, we don't need to choose the top 10 or top 5 university in the world based on the subject because for me personally, I'm not looking for a pride for the university, but I'm not looking for the university that can fits into my own knowledge and of course with my ability. So for me, 100 top 100 is enough. So I don't need to choose top 50 or top 20 or even top 10 university in the world. So top 100 is enough because I just thinking that if I choose in the university like Oxford, Cambridge or Harvard, it will be very stressful. It will be very a lot of pressure either to my work or to my brain or to my other things. Again, this is my own experience. It depends on you. If you are ambitious, if you want to choose the university that's the top 10 university in the world, so go ahead, that will be fine. And then the number one is learn with the expert. So in the second considerations, after we see the departments, look at some expert or professor which is related to your research interest. Especially if you're planning for the PhD degree, we need to make a contact with them in advance. How the way to make a contact with the supervisor I made in the previous video. When we learn with the expert, it means that we have someone that is really expert in our field. So for example, in the University of York, I met the Professor Ian Davis. So he is a professor of citizen education. He published a wide range of books, articles, journal in some of the best reputation journal in the world. So I can learn from his book, from his journal, his article, his research, and especially in the classroom. So that's the most important things that I can learn with the expert. And absolutely, when I choose the University of Birmingham for my PhD degree, there is a professor, Professor Andrew Peterson. So he is an expert in the citizenship and character education as well. So that would be my main research. Again, if you choose the university that has an expert in your field, that will be very beneficial because in the future, that I said that it fits into career, you can make some cooperation, some good relationship, and maybe when you will choose to be lecturer as a career, there will be some research collaborations, international research collaborations, and you are absolutely needed the supervisors for your connection. So please make sure that you learn and meet the expert at the university. And how to find out the university expert in our field? Again, we need to see the university website and go to the profile and look at some expertise, what kind of professors, what kind of the publications that they publish. And the most easiest way to find out the expert, you can look for the publication, your recent publication, or some of the published work that they publish in the online. And the third one, the most important thing, I think, yeah, this is the most important thing when we choose the university, is that GPA and English requirements. We can see on the university website, particularly in the admission. So when you choose the university and then look at the admission menus and go to the GPA and English requirement. So for me, I really pay attention to the English requirement because usually in the UK they require IELTS 6.5 for the master's degree and mostly 7.0 for the PhD degree. Since my major is the Department of Education, so they require a higher score of the English requirement. Well, when I chose the University of York, yeah, at that time my IELTS was 6.5. So most of the universities in the UK they require 6.5. At that time, I want to study at the University College London, for example. They require 7, and of course, it not fits with my English requirement, so I'm trying to delete it. So I choose the University of York. In the UK, there are only, I think, yeah, there are only 4 main universities that provide civics and citizenship educations. University College London, that's one of the best university in the world in educations, number 1. The second one is University of Birmingham, they have character educations. And number 3 is University of York, MA in global and international citizenship educations. And the University of Nottingham, citizenship and human rights. And since I need education and my GPA is only 6.5, so I decided to choose the University of York. So that fits into my English requirement. Uh, at that time, my background, I mean my GPA is very higher. My bachelor degree I got around 3.84, if I'm mistaken, 84 or 83, I forgot it. So I can choose the University of Oxford or Cambridge for my master degree since the GPA fits into the requirement. However, when I go to the PhD degree in the UK, I got a lower GPA. So my grade is only merit 60, right? So I cannot apply to the University of Oxford or Cambridge because they need the distinction or the highest GPA. So that's why I chose the University of Birmingham that can accept my GPA and the English requirement. Right. And the next consideration is the university locations. Well, for me, it is very important whether you want to choose the big city or the small city. Well, for me personally, I'd like to choose the small city or even big cities because it really affects about our living expense. So, for example, when I choose the University of York, it is considered to be the small city, but York is considered to be the what we call it is the the place for holiday or for the entertainment or the tourism place, right? Why? Because York is considered to be one of the most beautiful city in the UK. And York is the small city. Why I like to choose the small city? Because the accommodations in York is very close to the campus. Even I live off campus. Well, in the UK, we can choose the living on campus, which means that that's the accommodations provided by the university. But we can also choose the off-campus accommodations that off-campus means that we can stay in outside of the campus, but still very close to the university. In my experience in York, I choose the off-campus because the price is cheaper than the on-campus, and also I can ride a bike to the university. It takes only 10 minutes approximately, yes, and I think that's quite reasonable locations from my accommodations to the university. It's only 10 minutes. However, if we stay in the big city like the London, it is absolutely not possible to ride a bike because yeah, the traffic, and also we need to use the tube, we need to use another train from the our accommodation to the university, or sometimes we need to use the bus also, because that's the big city, right? And the accommodation which is very close to campus, such as on campus or another place, there is only available apartment maybe, or the price is very high rise, right? So I don't want to live in the big city. Also, if you are choosing, if you will bring your family, for example, for the PhD degree, you bring your wife, your husband, or your son, your daughter, you need also to think to consider about the living expense, especially for the accommodations. As you know that in the UK and I think all of the European countries, the fees for the accommodation is very high. So we need also to measure our living expense, especially for the accommodation. Also, please make sure about your bills, internet, water, gas, electricity, that also will affect our living expense. And the way we live in the on campus and off campus is very different. The way we live in the big city and the small city is very different. So please make sure about the university locations that you would like to stay in the big city or in the small city. And the most important thing is the water conditions, right? It is very important. In my case, I come from Indonesia, Southeast Asian country, which is considered to be I hot, but not too hot like the Middle East. The weather condition here is approximately 25 until 30 degrees. Compared to the UK, the weather temperature is maybe 5 to 10 degrees. In the summer, they reach sometimes 16 or 20 degrees, but it's very rare. Well, I choose the University of York at Birmingham in the UK because I'd like to experience the snow. I never touched the snow in Indonesia, so that I want to go to the UK to touch the snow. And it's really changed the way I think about the weather condition. But if you have some allergies, for example, with hot or sweet conditions, yeah, you can fit and choose the countries based on your own preference. So, for example, if you like to choose the cold countries, you can go to the North Pole, UK, or most of European countries. Or even you want to see the aurora, for example, you can go to the Nordic countries such as Sweden, Norway, or Denmark, or some of the Iceland, for example. That would be fine. But if you want to choose the hot countries, for example, yeah, you can choose Southeast Asian or Middle East. Or if you want to go to the Australia, I heard that the in Darwin, yeah, Charles Darwin University is in the north part of the Australia, but the weather condition is very close to Indonesia, and it's not too cold but not too hot as well. Right. So the weather conditions really affects the way we choose the university. Okay, that's the five things that we need to consider before you study abroad. Well, I have some quotes from the Paul Coelho. He said that If you are brave enough to say goodbye, life will reward you with a new hello, which means that we should go out from our comfort zone. We should leave our home and go abroad, far away, to find out the new friends, new people, new cultures. So we will see a very diverse perspective of different world. So for example, me in Indonesia, when I go to the UK, we have 6 different hours, very far. And when I choose on a plane, so it takes for approximately 17 to 20 hours on a plane. It's very far, quite far from Indonesia. But for me, yeah, UK is very good because I'm not alone over there, even though I come there alone. But when I live in the UK, I meet lots of people, lots of friends. So life will reward you with a new hello. Okay, so that's all for me. 5 things to consider before studying abroad. Alright, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share the video to other if you think this video is beneficial for you. Designation educations. Alright, thank you.